Hello and welcome to Radiant Station. In today's tutorial we are going to be modeling this sci-fi portal that you see here, and you'll be amazed by how simple it is to make with these new add-ons. Now straight into Blender, let's delete the default cubes. Let me turn on the shortcut keys. Let's delete off, we don't need those for now. The add-ons that I'm using are, the first one is the shape generator, which is by Mark Kingsnorth, and the second add-on I'll be using are the plates with greebles. Now both of these are paid add-ons, but the good part is for the month of March you will be getting 20% off on both of these add-ons at the checkout. Now straight away, this is how you generate one, and in the random seeds I'm gonna click 1050. That's the one that I have actually checked it out before. And the extrusions, I'm going to increase it to 40. I believe it was 45. Let me just turn on, and actually let me turn on the overlapping faces. I do not want that. We should prevent those. Let's bring the extrusions up to 45. Okay, and now we will be altering the scales in the Y and in the Z axis, squeezing it a little bit there and then elongating it in the Z axis. That's our rough shape, which did not take us even a minute. Now I'm going to add in the subdivisions into the edit mode. Subdivide again, that's twice. Now I'm going to get out of the tab menu, which is the edit mode, and with the F3 I'm going to search plates, and I'm going to generate plates and greebles. It's going to take maybe a couple of seconds, and there you have, these plates have already been created. Now let me show you again within the close look. You see, now I'll be going into the plates. I'll be going in with the random seed, might be alternating it, as well as this option that you see. Let me zoom in. If I reduce it to 0, they basically make sharper edges. If I increase this, let me go with this one. See how simple it is, just by a few clicks. Now the greebles, I'm going to increase those. Now let's get into greebles and increase the amount to, let's say, 500. It's going to take a couple of seconds, and you see it has added those additional details. Let's reduce it to maybe 400 for now. Maybe it went a little bit too much, but since these are simple shapes, let's see what random seeds that we can alter. Maybe whatever you like, and you can see how quickly we have modeled a very complicated shape, which would have taken a long time if you were modeling such a shape without any add-ons. Of course the shading part is still left, that's going to consume a bit of time as well, but we have our shape ready. Now what I'm thinking, I'm going to be adding in a teleport realm portal, so to say. Let me just bring that up, scale that in the Y axis, something of this sort. And the front view, I'm gonna try to place it in the center. Okay, now let's add in a loop cut. First apply the scale, now let's add in the loop cut. Oh, this is inset followed by the loop cut. I'm going to select the top two edges, and with the G key I'm going to move these up in the z-axis, something of this sort. I'm going to select the two front faces and extrude them inwards. Now comes the shading. That's how the model looks. Great. Let's get into shading. Of course, I'll be adding in emission shaders. Let's select, let's say, what do we name these materials? Let's go with blue, and since it's going to be emitting light, for this we need to go in for a grayscale. Of course, that's the main, that's the entire model for the portal part. Stick to gray, maybe we change it into metallic, reduce the roughness a bit. Something of this sort. Now let's add in another material into the edit mode. Select these faces, select the new material, assign it, and I'm going to delete the principal BSDF. I'm going to add in an emission shader to add in a bluish tone light emitting portal door. Strength of 5, maybe 6. Assign. Great. Now the rest of the model I'm going to link it with the same object, but of course then I'm going to detach or delink, since I need to make slight changes in the shade. Now going in for a slightly darker tone, and these additional lines I want to go for with a different color. I'll have to select these all individually, of course making sure that the Alt key is pressed. Selects it in loops. Since the object is being mirrored, hence if I select on one side, the other side gets selected itself. I did not turn this on. This is due to the add-ons where I have not turned off the mirror option within the add-ons. Now let's see what other faces can I select. This one as well. Let's see, since this is going to add nice details. It's a fairly low poly due to these hard edges, hence giving additional textures or shading to these edges will upgrade the entire model. Of course, lightings is the key. You can either break or make your scene. Let's see now. I don't want to cover this side since I will not be covering it in the camera. This is the only angle that I'll be capturing. Now let's assign a new material to this, and this is of course going to be similarly emitting blue light, but of course with the less strength. Let's add in the emission shader. Let's go for the color to be bluish tone, strength to be something of this sort. Now we have added some additional detail, since when I export the image it looks too plain on these sides. So I'm just gonna select these loop cuts, bevel them, and I'm not gonna extrude them or anything. I'm just gonna add in a different material to this. This is looking too much. That's over. Let's just remove that, make it into a darker gray or blackish tone shade. Now let's reduce this, something of this sort. Yes, that's the one, that's the look that I'm going for. So now let's see the rendered option. Yes, it looks great. Of course, the bloom effect really upgrades, considering that you are using the EV render engine. Now let's add in the camera and see what angle that we will be capturing. I'll be adding in a small animation which you've already seen in the beginning, and I'm gonna add in some additional planets or stars that you see here. Now I've added in the sun, little planets or stars emitting light. They're just simple shapes that I've exported from here, and these are the color tones that I've gone for and the strength. Of course, these are emission shaders, and I used two light source. That's the camera, that's the angle. Now there's small animation. These are the two light source, that's the color tone that I've used from the sun, giving it a warm light from the back and a slightly cool light effect from the front. And just by rotating the camera, made a small animation, of course with the bloom effect. So there you have it. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Toodles.